Number 12. We're going to use this triangle ABC on the right to answer all the questions. 12 says, what is the midpoint of AC? So the formula for midpoint, again, is x plus x over 2, y plus y over 2. So for A and for C, the x's are -3 and 7. The y's are -10 and -2. So I would get 4 over 2 and -12 over 2. And when I reduce, it would be 2 and -6. So please show the formula. Number 13 wants us to find the slope of the median from point A. Again, a median needs a vertex, so the vertex is point A, and it needs a midpoint. So when I leave vertex A and go to the other side is BC. So I need the midpoint of BC first. So again, we know what the formula is. So the x's of B and C are 1 and 7, so add those. And then the y's are 4 and -2, so add those. So the midpoint is 8 divided by 2, so 4. Then 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So the midpoint is 4, 1. So it would be right here. If I were to draw a line, and I don't recommend drawing the line, but if you were to draw the line from A to that point, this is what it would look like. So to find the slope, we all know that slope is rise over run. So you can count, hop, skip all the way to get from point to point. That's fine. But again, work means showing how many hops did you make. Another way is to use the slope formula. The slope formula says y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I would prefer that method. But again, you can count, but make sure you show the number of the count. And then you write it as m equals rise over run. Okay, so let me put m equals in front. So now, again, continuing using the formula, when you use it properly, first identify who is your first and second y's. So I'm going from A to 4, 1, okay? So that means I can say that A is the first coordinate or 4, 1 is the first coordinate. So let's go with A. So this means that's x1, this is y1, this is x2, that's y2. So that means I would do 1 minus -10, so plus 10 at the top, and then 4 minus -3, so plus 3 at the bottom, which would give me 11 over 7. If you can reduce, always reduce, but leave it as an improper fraction. So I can't reduce. And again, if you counted, you should have gotten the same thing. Make sure you count properly because some people don't. All right, for number 14, they want the slope of the altitude from B. So it's using vertex B. All right, so an altitude has a vertex, which we have, but it also has to be perpendicular. So this one requires a couple of steps. No, we don't need a midpoint, but we need to know the slope of the side we're intersecting. So if I leave B, travel across the triangle, I would hit side AC. So first I need to find out the slope of AC. Then I can find the slope of my altitude. So again, you can use the slope formula or you can count. So this one I'll demonstrate the counting. So to get from point to point, I had to rise up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 times. I had to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. So the slope of AC, please tell me what slope or what line you're doing that slope for. So give me the letters of that correct segment. So the slope of AC is rise 8 over run 10. And then if you can reduce, you need to reduce. So that's 4 over 5. Now, the slope of the slope of the altitude has to be perpendicular to the slope of AC. So that means I need to change my sign, so negative and flip. So 5 over 4. 13 would like us to write an equation. So we're going to write the equation of a line that contains BC. To write an equation, we need a slope and we need a y-intercept, or at least another point. We have 2 points, so we need to find the slope first. And then we can find the y-intercept to write our equation, or there we go. So to find the slope, again, I'm going to count. So to get from B to C, I have to fall 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So that's negative. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times over. And that's positive. So that slope is negative 6 over 6, which reduces to just negative 1. Okay, remember that. Also, our points are 1, 4, and 7, negative 2. So M of BC, again, remember, let me know what the slope is negative 6 over 6, which is negative 1. Point B had the coordinates 1, 4, right? So I'm going to use point B since it's all positive to write my equation. To write my equation, I'm going to start with point slope form. You have options, but I'm going to start with point slope form. That's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This is x1, this is y1. So the y minus 4 equals negative 1 times x minus 1. It didn't tell us what format to write the equation in. So technically, this could be done. So this is point slope form. If you want to put it in slope intercept form, you would have to distribute your negative 1. So you would have y minus 4 equals negative x plus 1. Then you would have to add x to both sides. So you would have x. Oh, God, no. Sorry. Sorry, wrong format. I'm sorry. To put in slope intercept form, which you're most commonly used to, y equals mx plus b, you need to get the minus 4 to move to the other side by adding 4. So it would be y equals negative x plus 5. So this is slope intercept form. And then if it said standard form, you need to move negative x to the other side by adding it. So in standard form, it would be x plus y equals 5. So practice all three. You never know what's going to happen on your test. But from this point on, I'm just going to do um, point slope and maybe slope intercept. Maybe. We'll see. Number 16 says, what is the equation of a line that contains the perpendicular bisector of AB? So it needs to be perpendicular with AB, and it needs to bisect AB. With that being said, I need the midpoint of AB, and I need the slope of AB. So from A to B, we need to find the midpoint using the midpoint formula. So the x's are -3 and 1. I shouldn't have closed that parentheses, sorry. -3 plus 1 over 2. And then we would have -10 plus 4 over 2. -3 plus 1 is -2. -2 divided by 2 is -1. Then -10 plus 4, -6. -6 divided by 2, -3. So this is the midpoint of AB. Okay, now we need the slope of AB. So again, you can count or use the formula. So when I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 over. No, yes, that makes sense. So that's 14 over 4, which reduces to 7 over 2. All right. Now that I know the slope of AB, I need the perpendicular slope because I need it my perpendicular bisector. So the perpendicular slope of AB is -2 over 7. Now with this slope, -2 over 7, and with my midpoint, I'm going to write my equation. So in point slope form, that would be y plus 3 equals -2 over 7 times x plus 1. Again, the formula did say subtraction, but when you subtract a negative, don't forget, folks, that that's positive. So this is point slope form. For slope intercept, we distribute. So y plus 3 equals -2 over 7x minus 2 over 7. And then subtract 3 on both sides. So y equals -2 over 7x minus, so 3 would be 21 over 7. So 2 minus 21, -2 minus 21 is a -23 over 7. In slope intercept form. So for 17 and 18, I'll give you the slope and the points that you need. You finish writing the equation. So for 17, we're doing the equation of the altitude from A. So when it leaves A, it's going to hit the side BC. So we need to know the slope of BC, and then we'll find the perpendicular slope of that. And I believe we've done it before on an earlier question. I think it was down 6, over 6. So the slope is -1. Great. So since the slope of BC is -1, the slope of the altitude would have to be +1 because it has to be the opposite reciprocal. It has to be perpendicular. So we have the slope, and then we're going to use point A to write our equation. So use the slope of 1 and use point A to write your equation. Finish it, please. For number 18, it says the equation of a line that contains the perpendicular bisector of BC. So it's going to be perpendicular and bisect BC. So that means we need to find the midpoint of BC. That's the point we're going to use. And then we need the perpendicular slope of BC. And if you think about it, we just found the slope in number 17. So again, the slope of BC, for those who missed it, was -1. The perpendicular slope of BC is +1. So this is the slope we're going to use, +1. Now we need to find the midpoint of BC because that's the point we're going to use. So the x's were 1 and 7, and the y's are, whoa, too high, 4 and -2. So 1 plus 7 over 2, and then 4 plus -2 over 2. 1 and 7 make 8, divided by 2 is 4. 4 and -2 is +2, divided by 2 is 1. So use this point, the midpoint, and this slope to write your equation. Please continue on your own. Alrighty. So we also learned about medians and centroids. We know the median, again, is from the vertex to the midpoint of the other side. Every triangle has 3 medians because you have 3 vertices. When the 3 medians intersect, the point of intersection is called the centroid. So on this diagram, U is our centroid. Now, the triangle's vertices are C, E, and D. So I'm going to put a V by all those. We said U was the centroid, so that's a C. So that means the other points on here are all midpoints. So keep that in mind. We practiced this in class. The same information, just different numbers. The distance from vertex to centroid is twice, so 2 times the distance from centroid to midpoint. So if I look at the picture, I have one vertex to the centroid is 9. That's UD. So the distance from U to J should be half of 9. So that means 4.5. I also have a distance from U to K. U to K is 12. And that's from centroid to midpoint. So if I double that, I would have C to U. So that's 24. And then it also told us that from E to M, total was 21. So if I divide it by 3, 21 divided by 3 is 7. So that's the smaller part from the centroid to the midpoint. So that's UM. 7. And then U to E is twice that, 14. So I filled in the whole diagram. You just need to go over here and answer the questions and show the work. Please continue that on your own. Using the figure at the right, if AD is the perpendicular bisector of segment GM, tell whether or not the statement is true or false. So again, we talked about this as well. If it's perpendicular, let's have our 90-degree angle. If it bisects, let's show our tally marks. Okay, so the first, all right, so 25, and I'm only going to do half of these as well. Says segment AG, so A to G is this line here, is congruent to AT. Do we know that to necessarily be true? No, we don't. So let's say false. 26 says that T is equidistant from M and G. Well, yes, that is true because T is the midpoint of GM. Number 27, segment GD, this segment here, is congruent to segment DM, this segment here. That is also true because that's the perpendicular bisector theorem. Number 28 says that ATM is a right angle. Yes, that's also true. So please finish number 29 through 32 on your own. Again, remember the perpendicular bisector theorem notes we took the other day. This concludes your tutorial for your review. Good luck on finishing the rest and your test.